Well, oh goodness. All right. Well, my name's Jamie Engel. I live on the opposite coast, but I spend my summers in Hillsborough County going library to library and teaching things. So thank you for coming out today. I know it's summer, but it is air conditioned here. So good on y'all. How many of you guys are interested in writing movies? A little bit. Okay. How many of you guys are just interested in the process of adapting or maybe fan fictioning a story in your own, like your own way? A little more of that. Okay, cool. Well, you're in the right place. Um, I I have written and published 25 books. I would say probably 10 um, hi, are like novel stories. Come on in. I guess we need more copies. Yeah. If you don't mind, thank you so much. You guys can sit up here or you can sit back there, whatever's comfortable. Um, I've been writing since I think my first book came out in 2015, and it's the first one of this series, the Castle Rock. It's Clifton Chase and the Arrow of Light. This is Clifton Chase on Castle Rock. In 2021, I decided I wanted to become a screenwriter. So I wrote some movies. I sent them to an entertainment attorney. They loved the second one. Long story short, it aired on TV in 2023. Thank you. And then my next job was with DreamWorks Animation Studios in 2025. I sent them this idea and they loved it. It's the story of the boy with the vorpal sword from the Jabberwocky poem in Alice in Wonderland, but they don't do origin stories, which that's what that was. So they asked if I could take Alice and retell it from the Hatter's perspective. So we developed that for a year. And once we got to the greatest story ever, they decided not to move forward because of Disney, I think. Totally my words, not theirs. But like when you think of Hatter, you think of Johnny Depp. When you think of the teacups, you think of Disney World. You know, so Alice in Wonderland, even though it's public domain IP, kind of belongs to them. But I love writing like both of these. This is a Robin Hood kind of a retelling. I really love the concept of taking a legend, a lore, a myth, and exploring it from a different lens or retelling it as my own and kind of just filling in the blanks. So when the library asked me like what I wanted to teach this year that kind of fit into their summer program, I got very excited. So do you guys know what makes a story a fable versus like a legend or a myth or a tale or anything? What makes it a fable? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like fables because of that. Um, it's short. It's like sometimes invented. Sometimes it explains something a little bit. But yeah, the fables are just to teach a moral, like the tortoise and the hare, right? Like it's a cute story, but nobody really cares. It's just, did you get the lesson or not is really the thing, right? So what's the difference? How would you describe a myth versus a legend? It's a tricky one, yeah. Yeah, I like that example. I like that description. You're awesome. Yes, all of that. So a myth is it like explains how the world works. It's supernatural. It's like old. It's like this is where our people came from, or this is the mythos of our whatever. Whereas a legend is like Johnny Appleseed or Robin Hood, right? So there's maybe a little bit of real. We don't know how much. Like I'm sure there was not a dude named Johnny Appleseed who literally like did all the things he did. But I know there was a dude, Johnny Appleseed, who did a little bit. He like planted some apple seeds. But you know, you've got like Patrick Henry. He's a composition, I think is the word, of like several different people, and they just sort of created the story based off of his life, but he's not an actual real person. So the fun part about like taking something like a myth or a fable or a legend, there's a lot of different variations and versions of them, right? Like you've heard so many retellings of the same sort of tale, and I think when it becomes really fun is when you kind of flip the script, like Maleficent. That was so fun that they actually made you feel like, wow, poor Maleficent. She got the short end of the stick when she's really, I think she's the scariest of all the Disney villains, like by far. She's treacherous. But it's fun to wonder. Or you take something like Moana. I'm sorry, I'm not getting a Disney kick. Just roll with me here. You take something like Moana, and they took that myth, and they built. I don't even know if that myth is true in that culture, to be honest with you, but it appeared sort of true in my mind, so we're going to go with that. And they built a whole universe around reaching this mythical god from this story world to help this girl. And yes, is it true? Thank you. I'm so glad you're here today. Hercules as well? Yes. That one I knew, but I did not know about Moana, so thank you. Appreciate you. So this is one of my favorite things to do, and that's why, like, this in particular, I love Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my favorite stories ever, of all time, forever and ever. But I never have read anything about the boy with the vorpal sword in the Jabberwocky poem. He doesn't have a story, so I gave him one. I made it up and just took a lot of different poetry. He has so many. Lewis Carroll has so many other poems that are never anywhere except for in my book and his. So that was super fun to like take 6 or 7 of his long form poetry and like create a mythos around it. So okay, so just like I think you guys might have this in your notes, but the short and simple fables are brief stories. That's the other thing. They're usually only a few paragraphs because they're just trying to teach a lesson. And do we want to be like, do we want to sit through a dissertation when we're trying to get like taught something? No, we want to get in and out. Like, okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, how can I fix it? Great, let's move on. A lot of times they have, I can never say this word, so just say it with me. Anthropomorphism, which is super fun. I want to write an entire book that's just like silverware talking to each other, but haven't done that yet. They have a moral lesson. What? Blue's Clues, right? I want to be part of that. Well, not now, but that show. Let's reboot it. They have moral lessons, and they usually have universal themes, which is what makes them stand the test of time. Anytime you can take a universal message, something that applies to every person, every culture, every age, and put that into your story, the story is going to last longer, and it's going to have a more profound impact because people can connect to it. And that's one reason why animals, because what race is a bear? Right? Whatever you are, whatever you see in your mind when you look at that bear, that's who you are. You identify with this bear because it's you. So, but when you have like a white child or a Native American child or something else, like whatever you fill in the blank with, then that's what you see. So a lot of times the animals help keep it universal, or the spoons. Maybe less so because you might have to use chopsticks depending on what culture you're trying to represent, but you can play with that. But the universal theme is really important. And they do have an explicit ending, like slow and steady wins the race. We should have totally played a game like I'll name the theme and then you tell me maybe we'll do that. We'll start with that one. Slow and steady wins the race. What fable is that? Yes. Yup. Real quick, we'll read this quick, very fast, because we don't like to be yelled at when we're in trouble, right? We don't want to be told things for too long. A hare was always boasting about how fast he could run. Tired of his bragging, a slow-moving tortoise finally said, "I'll race you." The hare laughed, but agreed. At the signal, the hare bolted out of sight, then decided he had so much time he'd lie down for a nap. The tortoise kept walking. How? Slow and steady, never stopping. When the hare woke and sprinted to the finish, he found the tortoise already there smiling. The race was lost to the one who never gave up. So the moral is perseverance beats arrogance. Slow and steady wins the race. Fabulous. How about a liar won't be believed even when telling the truth? Oh, yep. Y'all can just shout them out. That's fine with me. So a shepherd boy was bored watching his flock. So for fun, he shouted, "Wolf, wolf!" The villagers came running to help, but there was no wolf. And the boy laughed at them. He did it again the next day, and again they came, and again he laughed. Then a real wolf appeared. The boy screamed, "Wolf, wolf!" But this time no one came because no one believed him anymore because he was a big fat liar. That's mine. The wolf scattered the whole flock. The moral is dishonesty leads to disaster, or a liar won't be believed even when telling the truth. And the last one, there's a time to work and a time to play. Grasshopper and the ant. Good job. All summer long, the grasshopper sang and danced while the ant worked, carrying grain to store for the summer. Why work so hard? Laughed the grasshopper. Come enjoy the sunshine. The ant kept working. When winter came, the fields were bare and cold. The starving grasshopper begged the ant for food. The ant, who had prepared all summer, had plenty, and the grasshopper learned the cost of waiting too late. They're really easy, right? And I would imagine, well, maybe I'll ask you, what do you think is an easier way to create a fable? Do you think it's easier to start with a moral lesson or to create a story and then find the moral lesson and make that the theme? Who thinks it's easier to start with a theme and figure out a story? Who thinks it's easier to start with a story and then discover the theme? Who thinks that's all hard and I would never do any of it? I just had to ask. That's fair. Okay, so let's do a quick brainstorm. Besides the ones I mentioned, what other fables do you guys know? And like what lessons do they teach? If you can think of any. I have a couple here in case we get stuck, but yeah.
This isn't one specific, but there's Aesop's fables.
Yes. So they're like Grimm's fairy tales. They're like a collection. So a lot of these are probably Aesop's fables, to be honest. So let's come into some specifics and then talk about like the lesson. What's the lesson that we can learn in some of these? You guys think of any? I know I picked like the top 3. I know, I totally did. I think that's more of a yeah. I would say yeah. I think that can go in either category, but I'm gonna go with a yes on that one. That's a good one. You shouldn't trust strangers, and that's why they had those fairy tales so that kids wouldn't go into the big forests of Germany and get eaten. All right, here's a couple. Tell me if you've heard these ones or not. The Lion and the Mouse. Yes. Oh, sorry. The Fox and the Grapes. I love that one. No? I don't have the whole thing here, but it's like basically this fox, this crow wanted to like get across the river or something, so he had these grapes and he kind of tricked the fox tricked him by said, "Hey, just get on my back, I'll take you across," and then he eats him. And the moral of the message is don't trust strangers because they might eat you. No. The goose that laid the golden egg. The crow and the pitcher. Like not a pitcher, but like a pitcher. Never heard that one. Yeah? Heard. The dog and his reflection. No, me neither. The north wind and the sun. No. The wolf in sheep's clothing. I think we've all met that person. Yeah? Yeah. The milkmaid and her pail. Sorry, I can't read. The last one I have here is Belling the cat. Jack and the Beanstalk. I think that's just a fairy tale. I think that's a different, like just like Hansel and Gretel. I think that actually falls into a different category because there is a nice long story attached to it. It's not just a quick like, hey, I don't want you to die, or hey, you need to know about this, or hey, you need to be careful, or hey, don't be a jerk. You know, like I think it's just a quick message. So I have in my book, The Toilet Papers, Places to Go While You Go. I have one that I wrote. This would be a myth. It's called Sun Lights the Night. Tonight I will light the night sky, the sun said, but you cannot, the moon said, you must share your light with me. I will not be shining my light upon you tonight, Mr. Moon. The moon frowned and turned his back to the sun. The sun beamed down bright rays as nocturnal animals awoke. Owls perching on branches squinted. Who, they asked, who is lighting the night sky? I am, replied the sun. I am staying awake to see what goes on during the night. We cannot see, the owl said, so they went back to their homes hungry. So it continues in that pattern because the sun wants to see what happens at night. But what happens is he's destroying the night, because does he belong in the night? No. So my thoughts were, what would happen if? Does anyone ever start stories with that? What would happen if? Do you ever like see something happen in the real world and stop and be like, well, I don't like that. That's not fair. What would happen if this happened? Or if I changed something and moved in that direction? I think that's a really great way to start a story. What would happen if? So when you're translating something like that into like a film, into a screenplay, something like Maleficent, right? What is it about that story that we really connect with and we attach ourselves to? Like, she's a bad guy, right? I mean, before it starts, she's a bad guy. So how does the story change so that our perspective of the character changes? How do you write that? What's the process, do you think? So going back to their beginnings and filling in the blanks. So that's a really good way to do that. So you could do that with anybody, right? What are some other characters or stories where we've seen that, or we've seen them go back and we're like, oh. I mean, they've done it with like Superman, right? I mean, in a sense, we've seen the really like sexy bad Superman too, right? We've not just seen the normal Superman, but we've seen the one who's like really bad and we're like, whoa, Superman, right? We're like, what is happening? And he's kind of mean and a jerk. What other characters have we seen the transition? Yeah.
So I watch anime. Mm-hmm. I'm probably gonna be like rude after this.
No, absolutely not.
There's this character, his name is Takasa, mm-hmm. And before everything happened, he was a child, and he made a deal with this like demon to help heal his brother. And after that, everything happens. He's like totally different.
Okay. So, but
he got possessed.
So when the story starts, we don't start there.
No.
We start with him evil and possessed, and then later we learn his origin and his why. I feel like I've seen that one.
Have you seen 12 How to Cook?
I don't know the names of any of them. I've seen a bunch on Netflix. If it's on Netflix, I've probably watched it. Okay, then no, I have not watched it. Yeah, it's a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, now we're getting some good ones. I like that one. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, and anime does that a lot though. Like that's kind of the beauty of it, where they flip it on its head. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. So when you're thinking about a story, maybe take a story that you really like, and then thinking about flipping the fable on its head. I know years ago when there was like a fairy tale reboot, and they had like Cinder. I don't know if you guys ever read that book. There was one about the wolf, the bad wolf from all the fairy tales, and it was his story, and it was like he wasn't a bad guy. He was just this wolf, and he was just hungry, or he needed a place to live, and they wouldn't help him out, and it's just like his perspective. So that's a fun way to come up with a new story, is to take something and flip it on its head, like I did with with Ursula. So let's collectively take one of these fables and kind of break down what makes it a fable. So I'll go back to the three that I read, possibly. Let's either do the tortoise and the hare, the boy who cried wolf, or the ant and the grasshopper. Whatever one you guys think you know the best. Probably the tortoise and the hare, right? That's probably let's go with that one. So let's identify the beats of that story. Who are the characters in the tortoise and the hare? Y'all need to answer this one, okay? Correct. You win a prize. No. Okay, so it's the tortoise and the prayer. So how would you describe the character of the tortoise?
Hardworking.
Hardworking. Okay. Yeah.
Confident.
Very confident. Maybe overconfident at first because we don't know. We don't know he's going to win, but yes, I like that. How else? One more attribute about the tortoise. Yeah.
He's wise.
He is wise. I think most things with shells are, except for cockroaches. They should not exist. Mm-mm. Yeah, so the hare. How about the hare? What is he like? Or she? Arrogant. Egotistical, for sure. A little prideful. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe I just said or she and never thought about that. What if the tortoise and the hare were girls? What if one of the tortoise or the hare was a girl? I've never read that story. It's always boys, right? When I think of the tortoise and the hare, I don't think I've ever seen it any other way. So that might be a whole new story that somebody can write, that they're girls, the girl fables. Why not? It's something different. So are there any other characters in the story? Because we're creating a fable. We're taking the fable and we're going to turn this into a movie. We cannot just have two characters, right? So what are some other characters that might be organically in that story?
We can add a referee.
Definitely need someone who's being like, okay, go, right? Or go really slow. Okay, so we have someone who's like in charge of the race, right? All right, so now we're in this setting. Who else might be run as part of the race? Do you think maybe they have, I mean, I feel like there would be a hare fan club, right? Like, yeah, with like the signs, and then maybe the tortoise doesn't have any, or maybe the tortoise does have some. What do you think? Just one person? It's like his life coach. The partner. Yeah. Yeah, the life partner, which is a very long life for the tortoise, by the way. Do they marry forever, or they like? They've been through a lot. Okay, they've been married a long time. Okay, that's really important. So they've been through a lot, and this is like the tortoise's goal in life is just to race. Like, you know, I'm in midlife, and I just want to say I've done a triathlon, right? This is the tortoise. So we've got this tortoise, his wife. We've got the hare. What is the fan club, the hare fan club called? Don't say just for men, like the hare. We're not going there. We'll have to give them money. But maybe there'll be a sponsor. Maybe. So maybe we could go that way.
Maybe she's full of females.
Huh?
Maybe she's full of females trying to get a mate.
So it's all girls. Yeah. They're just all like total fangirling, fanboying this hare. Okay. So we've got a referee, we've got a fan club, we've got a wife or a husband, depending, and we've got this tortoise. I think that's a good cast of characters to get started, right? We have a little feel for what's happening. Is there maybe a news reporter? I feel like there should be a news reporter, right? Somebody coming in? Yes, absolutely. What is happening? Okay, so what is the conflict? Like, we know by the moral that we've got this really slow hare and this really slow tortoise and this really fast hare, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win the race. So yes. Okay, so maybe what's the prize or the high stake?
His wife.
The turtle wife? What else could it be? We can do more than one. What are some other stakes? Food? Okay. Management? Oh, banishment. So whoever wins stays. So it's like territorial. Okay. I like that. Yes. His shell, like his home? He's going to get evicted? Okay, I like that one. That's different. So banishment or eviction. So if the hare wins, he takes the turtle's home, and then the turtle has to leave. If the turtle wins, does he get the hare's home, or does he get maybe the hare's fur, and the hare has to shave himself? And he can just like have this really fuzzy turtle shell. He's like, yeah, check me out. Feel it. He gets what? He gets the fan club too. Love it. Okay, so now we've got some conflict. We've got the news reporter, right? So she's got to have something. Is she a seasoned news reporter? Like she's This is her last story and she just wants to get through it. Is this her first story? She's trying to prove herself. It's her first time in the field. Or is she just like, she knows her stuff and she is the reporter and she's just going to get knocked down because she's like, what is going on? Or something else. What do you think?
Because Sly Fox, that makes the race interesting.
Oh, I like her. Sly Fox. I think we're going to end there. That's a good one. Okay, so the Sly Fox. What about the referee? A bear? A horse? A beaver? I like all of these. Okay, so we've got this referee. What is the, that's fine. What is the conflict with the referee? What might his conflict be?
He's getting paid by the hair.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Corruption.
It's the hair's wife.
It's the now it's getting awful. And so maybe our reporter is going to uncover this too. So now her story just deepened a little, didn't it? Yes. Of course. Shouldn't we all? No, we shouldn't. Okay, that's good. I love it. All right. What is the resolution? Like in the normal story, the flaw leads to consequence. What is the resolution? What's going to happen in the end? We already know, because we're going to stick to the fable somewhat, that the tortoise is going to win, right? So what is the resolution? I almost said consequence. What is the resolution of this story? We have all these cast of characters. Yeah, let's hear it. Let's go.
So the tortoise gets the hare's wife.
Oh, no. And even though the tortoise wins, he loses his wife, which is probably a good thing because she sounds kind of nasty. She sounds like she kind of like, no pun intended with the shell, but she kind of like hit him in the back there and didn't really do him well. Okay, that's a good one. What else? What are some other things? Maybe they stay together. We'll go the opposite way. We're just throwing ideas out, okay? Yeah.
Maybe he loses his shell and takes the fur.
I like it. I mean, he wins. That's part. He does get the shell or the fur. So does he have the hair face the consequence of shaving his fur off? It would be amazing. I would watch the whole movie just to see that, to be honest. I think that's amazing. What are some other consequences? We have other characters. We've got the fan club, we've got the referee, and we've got the news journalist.
I have a dark turn.
Of course you do. I would have known that about you, and I don't even know you. Yes, tell me.
Okay, so basically, after the hair gets shaved, the fan club turns him into rabbit stew.
Nice. Nice. Here, hold that, because you're going to have to come up with the moral for that story. That's yours. Hold it. What else? What are some other resolutions for these other characters? Yes.
Maybe once the turtle wins and he gets the hare's fur, after the fox uncovers the story, maybe she decides to eat him.
So you guys are dark. The front row is dark, people. Front row is dark. I like it though.
That's what the rabbit stew's for.
Oh, it sounds like they have a past. It just sounds like there's a past history between the fox and the hare. But just saying, yeah, I think there's some past things going on there. A little relationship. Anything else, guys, from the back, from in the light, the land of light and non-darkness, the positive row? Do you guys have anything to share?
Maybe someone just comes and kills all of them.
There's a lot of death in this story.
Hair still in a turtle shell. Served to the fan club.
I like it. So the hair is served to the fan club in the turtle shell.
Exactly.
You know, I think there's a lot of death in this story. Okay,
He doesn't have to be dead. He could be like swimming in this.
just naked. Yeah,
like it's a
that's
sauna.
fair. Okay, I like that. Like a sauna.
Like he tries to escape the ego stuff.
So I just feel like in the very, very last scene, we need to have like goat yoga. Okay, because I just feel like we need something happy and peaceful at the very, very end. Okay, so all y'all crazy people that have these awful stories, what's the moral?
The moral is you should never try and cheat your way through the race with your wife.
Fair. What's the moral? Yours for your like crazy killer fox steals the wolf. I don't even know the characters anymore.
Justice will be served. I don't know.
Justice will be served in a shell. Yes,
Stay away from scary people with sharp fangs.
that's correct. Yes.
No matter who wins, they'll have
That's a I would write 7 stories around that. That's a beautiful moral. No matter who wins, we're all dead meat. It's beautiful. You guys are beautiful. You guys are beautiful humans, and I am definitely going to lock my car as soon as I get in it. Just, yes. Consume the loser. Don't lose, you might become food. Okay. So, I have nothing else to add to this because you guys are amazing. So, let's, I think, I'm just looking through my things and what we're at on time. We're doing good. Do you guys have do you guys want to write or do you want to do another kind of group? I'm afraid to write with y'all again. I'm just afraid to write with you people again, to be honest. To call my therapist on the way home and I don't even have one. Okay, so here's a couple. If one jumps out at you, just say stop and we'll work on that one. We don't have to do it for the whole rest of the thing. We can maybe do 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see. The hare as a modern influencer who loses a race because of arrogance. The boy who cried wolf as a social media prankster whose lies backfire. That's a good one. Well, you don't know SLS, so we can't do that one. Okay, I think what I was trying to get at is the keeping the moral, changing the skin. So let's do that. Let's change the let's apply the moral to a different fable and then write a story around it. Because this, what did I say at first? I said, do you think it's easier to write the story and then find the fable, because that's what or find the moral, or take the moral and write the story? So let's do that. So which moral do we want to write a new story around? Slow and steady wins the race. A liar won't be believed even when telling the truth, or there's a time to work and a time to play. Shocking! The deaf group wants the liar. Okay, so let's do that. A liar won't be believed even when telling the truth. So let's go back to the beginning. We need characters. Who are our characters in this story? A liar won't be believed even when they're telling the truth. That's what we're going to get to at the very end. Yes, name some characters. Well, we can do anything. We're making this up. It can be an astronaut. It can be a teacher in Kansas. Yes. A teenage boy. Okay. A cat. What? A YouTuber. A cannibal YouTube boy. Wow. Okay, so you're bringing the villain in. Okay, so let's just do the main character. Main character is a YouTube boy. We're gonna go with that. Yes. A primal caveman who found YouTube. I mean, I'm down. Time travel. Let's go. Mr. Beast. Yeah, we'll just tell his story.
He would buy the cannibal.
Okay. I mean, I don't, Mr. Beast, if you're watching this. Okay, so our main character may or may not be Mr. Beast. However, it is a boy, a teenage boy, which isn't Mr. Beast, but you're rolling with me here. A teenage boy who's a YouTuber. Is he a new YouTuber or is he a highly influencing YouTuber like Mr. Beast or somewhere in between? Okay. Okay. So he's the guy that comes in and says, let's do this challenge, and then people go eat Tide Pods. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's have, and our villain is a cannibal? Okay. Is the cannibal a girl, a boy, an animal? What is this creature? A girl. Of course it's a girl. Is it it doesn't have to be. Well,
300-year-old cannibal woman.
300-year-old cannibal woman. Okay. What was that? Mutilated? Why? What's the story? What's the story of this? Yeah, that's not good enough. We need more. Let's go deeper.
She fell down a cliff and she got stabbed through the tree.
See, now we're digging. See how easy that was to go down just one layer? You're like, she's just old. No.
She loves the taste of liars.
She likes the taste of liars. Okay. Yeah, total Baba Yaga for sure. Okay, so what's the conflict between these characters? We've got the boy. He's a hot and heavy YouTuber, right? He's influential, and then he's got this. Is she like stalking him? Is she?
Stalking.
Does he know? Yeah.
So,
Okay.
that'd be crazy. But I think she should be a girl from high school
Mhm.
and that he has a crush on.
Okay.
And then she invited him over and he cannibalized. He got cannibalized.
Wow, y'all are dark. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting into the conflict, and I like this. This is good. Okay, so why is this 300-year-old cannibalistic old lady who got thrown off a cliff and landed on a tree hanging out with this YouTuber? Or is she just commenting? Like, is she his number one fan? Does she comment on everything and then she's like,
She tries to lure him for his next
well,
YouTube video.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, outdoor pranks.
She could be kind of famous online.
Okay.
Oh.
I love it. Maybe catfishing him a little bit, right? Because she's not really what her little image says. So she wants to meet him. She's like, let's meet. Let's meet. I have a great prank. I have the best prank. You're not going to believe it. And maybe she offers to like bring him to wherever she is. Like makes it sound like the trip of a lifetime.
A scary cave.
No, it can't be a scary cave. That's too obvious. It needs to be like
a
Walmart parking lot. No, I think I like the scary cave better. Sounds safer. So she's luring him out by this is where the conflict comes in and the characterization. But think about it. What is she using to lure him out? What about him? No, not the steps. Why does he say yes? What is she using against him?
She represents sponsors.
Okay.
Currency.
Y'all are still not hearing. I'm not saying it correctly. I'm not asking the question right. I'm trying to figure out how to ask it. So I'm sure he gets requests all the time, right? What is she doing that's making him be like, this is the one? Yeah.
First, she took a lot of plastic surgery, so she doesn't look mutated.
I think it should be more mythical, don't you? Like she just transformed or something? Yeah. Yeah, like a witch. Yeah.
She could be like a shapeshifter.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So, but what she's doing, the thing that makes him come out to meet her is, as a YouTube influencer, you have to have a high degree of self pride, superiority, right? Like you have to have this like I'm better than everybody else kind of a mentality, right? So she's feeding his ego. So she's giving him, I have the prank that's going to take you past Mr. Beast. You're going to get more views than him if you come to my Walmart parking lot cave and we do this prank together, right? So remember there's a moral story at the end of this. What's our moral story? Never trust strangers. So we have to play that against him. Why is he trusting a stranger? So we can get to that moral. We have to get him to do the thing we don't want him to do so we can teach the lesson. We're like deconstructing this, right? So she's using his pride, his arrogance, his like superiority against him by offering this. She's probably going to give him money. I don't know what she's going to offer him. So more viewers. The top, yeah. So she's just totally pulling out everything that he wants because she's a witch. She knows, right? She knows what to say to get him to come out and do this. So then what's the resolution? God, I'm afraid I'm asking. What's the resolution?
He gets eaten on live stream and turns into stew.
I like the first half. I feel like we've seen stew before. What else? I'm like really like I like this, but let's dig deeper.
He barely gets away with his life.
Okay, so maybe he gets away. So live stream, yeah.
He gets away, but then he gets ran over by a car.
Oh, that's just mean. I like you. What else?
Maybe he does get away, but before he does get away, the witch turns him into a witch, so the cycle begins again.
Okay. That's cool. So we're doing like a ring.
He gets away, the witch turns him into a witch, and then during that process, the new witch turns another kid into food, so that they can both feast.
That's just sick and wow. But yes.
For a mukbang video.
But yes, I love it. Yes.
How she just turns him into a bunny and tosses him in a cage and sells him at a store so he gets like far away.
Okay. I love it.
Beautiful kitty.
I love it.
She takes the spot as a YouTuber.
Yeah, so she steals his channel.
You create a child.
Okay. So then we have our moral. And what's our moral?
Never trust a
Don't
stranger
trust a
you meet
stranger,
online.
especially when you meet online. Yes. And don't be 300 years old. You should just die. Just die already.
Just die.
You guys are so fun. Okay, so y'all just, I mean, I have to drive 3 hours home. I'm going to be like looking in my mirrors. So now that we've done both ways, which story concept did you feel was easier? Did you feel it was easier to write a story and then find the moral? Or do you feel it was easier to take a moral and build a story around it? I like both too. I do feel like it was easier to take the moral though. If I had to pick one, I think it was easier. She what?
She kept trying to say to be suicide.
The YouTuber?
Well, suicide would help if you wanted to die quick.
I mean, he might want to, but maybe he can't. I mean, you just don't know. Yeah, I liked that story. I think it would be a really good movie. I would watch that movie. I mean, I might have to go write it and like we'll red carpet as a crew because I think that's a crazy story and really fun and sick and twisted.
You gotta give us 10% of the money.
There's more than 10 of you. You can't do that. What was that? No, nobody would get any because there's not enough. I mean, the producers get paid. I mean, the writers don't get nothing really. So yeah, we'll just all have to like collaborate. We'll have to crowdfund it. That's it. We'll crowdfund it. So, okay. So, do you guys feel like you have a clear understanding of what makes the story a fable? Yeah, me too. That's good because I'm teaching it. Do you guys feel like you could take any fable and adapt it into like a short scene or a short story or a short movie? I know. I know. I will look for your face in every post office from here till forever because, or maybe I'll see you on Snapped one day, my favorite show. Okay, cool. So do you guys have any questions about doing this on your own? I think it would be a really fun exercise if you are just hanging out and kind of bored to try to do one of these, right? Why not? You can do it on your own. Huh? I don't know. It's hard to find it. But everybody has like 1 to 3 minutes. The hard part about writing is the time. It really is. The writing is the hardest part about writing, which is silly. But everybody has 1 to 3 minutes. It just sometimes might take longer to write it than you'd like. But you can brainstorm for a few minutes and just get a couple of things down. And just, even if you voice text or put a note in your phone or something. But if you do write a fun story, please send it to me. I would love to read it. I would like to be a part of your little story universe. And I'm not going to sell this story, guys, okay? I have a lot of other stories I'm working on. In fact, I'm going to pause this.